बिगड़ी बात बना देते हैं, बिगड़ी बात बना देते हैं। राम नाम दो अक्षर, राम नाम के दो अक्षर से तैर गए हैं पत्थर। बिगड़ी बात बना देते हैं, राम नाम दो अक्षर, राम नाम के दो अक्षर से तैर गए हैं पत्थर।
जय जय राम, 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 जय जय राम।
एक शब्द में कितना सुख है, राम में रम कर देखो। एक शब्द में कितना सुख है, राम में रम कर देखो। सब देखोगे अंतर मन में, राम को क्षण भर देखो। सब में राम ही राम समाए, सब में राम ही राम समाए। क्या हीरा क्या कंकर, राम
सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we were studying about how desires undermine success. Whenever you most want something, it becomes very, very difficult for us to get it. Why is that? Because the mind is agitated, the intellect cannot think. And when the intellect cannot think, you can't function, you can't perform, you make mistakes, you freeze, you do wrong things. You sometimes just can't do anything at all. You're frozen. Or you're frightened, so you run away. Or you're frightened, so you start fighting. So you do something silly instead of doing, what needs to be done. When the mind gets agitated, it's actually the worst thing that can happen to you. So if your mind is getting agitated, you must recognize that I'm in a dangerous position. And I have to do whatever it takes to cool down. Because my intellect is not going to function and I'm going to go and do some stupid thing. So do whatever it takes. Just cool down, temporarily at least, something to cool down. Some people say that if they breathe, then they cool down. Okay, Baba, then you breathe. Some people want to go shopping and so they cool down. Okay, then you go shopping, do whatever you want. Of course, it would be nice to do some physical exercise because that would probably give you the most benefit without any, like you go shopping, you do something nonsensical, you suddenly go buy a Rolls Royce or something. So better that you do something like physical activity, clean, jog, gym, something like that. But whatever it takes, you have to cool down. And until you cool down, you will take no action. That should be a rule in your life. There's always people who try to agitate you so that you make mistakes. And the most common example of that is marketing. How do they agitate us? They say urgent, little stock. Unnecessary, they will create something. If you buy it now, we'll give you one on one free. Unnecessary, they'll create some agitation. In fact, if you hear the word urgent from anyone, do not react. And like I've told you so many times, if you take Swamiji a letter saying, please sign it, it's urgent, he'll put it aside, he won't sign it. Never ever fall for this urgent thing. Yes, Gunjan?
Ji, I have this, like, I think, simple question that if we take steps which are superficial steps, for example, doing some window shopping or eating, which can lower the agitation. So, is that not conditioning in some way?
Yeah. It's preferable not to do that. It's preferable not to get agitated. That is your best case scenario. Your second best case scenario is if you're getting agitated, do something, do have like standard things you will do if you're agitated. Whatever, which you already know are not harmful for you. Right? So sometimes somebody, I'm like I said, exercising, cleaning the cupboard, something. These are standard operating practices as far as you're concerned. I'm agitated, then these are the jobs I do. I watch television, whatever, something you have in your own mind, which is not particularly detrimental to you. So you keep that ready because you know that agitation is going to come. As if agitation is not never going to come. So try to figure out ways which are less detrimental. That's why exercise is good, because though you're doing it because you're agitated, you're actually benefiting yourself, right? So you can think of stuff like that, or cleaning, and because if you are agitated now, what are you gonna do? So that part of conditioning has already happened. So your best case scenario, don't get agitated. If you do get agitated, don't take a decision until you cool down. So sometimes agitation just peter away on their own also. You don't even have to do anything. Just don't concentrate on them, they will go away. It is the nature of the mind. It forgets, like a child, it forgets. But if it's really very hard, then have your whatever according to you is proper to do. So when desires rage, one cannot choose the most effective action, or one cannot perform it well. In one word, this is known as, remember? In one word, this is known as this is referring to the quality of what happened to all of you? Even Deepraj is not there. Deepraj, even you don't know. This is
Can you
just,
please repeat the question?
oh, so you're switched off, is it? When video goes off, oh, gone. Everybody, please, rule, you have to switch it on because you can see. Good example of when listens, he knows the answer. But when he doesn't listen, none. Taruna, one word for this. Mahesh, one word for this. Hmm?
I missed last class.
Last class, I just read the line. Last class, where have we gone?
Agitated. I got the concept, but one word I can't. I mean, when your desires rage, what is that called? I don't know.
Not when your desires rage.
And
When your desire rages, one cannot choose the most effective action or one cannot perform it well. One word for this concept.
Clarity.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Is it clarity?
Wonderful. Excellent. Fantastic. Only one person, I've noticed in class, only one person listens. Except we don't know which is that one person on that day. Excellent. Very good. This time you have beat the entire class. We should give her a standing ovation. Fantastic. When desires rage, one cannot. You just did it, right? Didn't you all have some quiz or something on your group? I said this. What is clarity? That you can choose the action and you can execute the action. Now I ask you one word for this. You say, I don't know what the word is. How is this even possible? When desire rages, one cannot choose the most effective action, nor can one perform it well. The Gita says that
it's lack of clarity here.
no, the concept is clarity. Now, the choosing and the concept is clarity. You could have said lack of clarity if you want, but the concept is clarity. What are these two qualities referring to? Loss of clarity. The Gita says that the person who can control this raging, tumultuous desire is a yogi, a happy person. This is the person who is a spiritual person. This is the person who is a successful, happy person in the world. Whether you want success and happiness in the world or you want spiritual growth, the quality that we have to have is exactly the same. Therefore, in Vedanta, there's no choice. They don't say there's a material path and there's a spiritual path. I mean, we say it, but there's no real choice. If you do it properly, you have to have both. There's no question of, oh, I have to do spiritual, so I have to leave all my material things. No. I have to do material, so I have to leave all my spiritual things. No. The right path gives you both things, and he clearly states this. The person who can control this raging, tumultuous desire is a yogi, a happy person. Yogi means what? Spiritual person. Happy person means what in the world? He's a happy person. He's happy with whatever's in the world. Right. A Zen story tells of a young challenger to the master. The Zen master was the best archer in the kingdom. He was challenged by a young upstart who excelled in the art. In the contest, the challenger hit the bullseye 3 times in a row and said to the master, "Your turn." I hope it's clear. So there was this Zen master. He was very, very good at archery. And so somebody challenged him. A young fellow challenged him. And he shot his arrow 3 times. The challenger shot the arrow 3 times, and each time it was bullseye. And having done that, he turned to the master and said, "Your turn." He challenged him, and he's got 100% marks. The Zen master said nothing, got up, and walked off. The angry challenger ran after him, saying, "How dare you walk off? It's your turn. Either accept defeat or play." The master said nothing, but kept walking up the mountain. The challenger kept taunting him, "Your turn." The master reached the peak. There was a dangerous rope bridge dangling above a deep gorge with a raging river. below is the raging river. And then there is, you have seen those rope bridges? They are so flimsy. The master continued walking onto the precarious rope bridge. He stopped in the middle. He took aim. He scored a bullseye and shot and scored again, and then a third bullseye. He turned to the challenger and said, "Your turn." To perform under pressure is the mark of a master. As the stakes rise, performance is impaired. The desire makes one crave the result, dwell in the past, or get unduly excited with the action. This impedes concentration on the current action, which substantially decreases one's effectiveness. To enable clarity, one has to put desire on the back burner. Else, the mental space is consumed by the desire, the longing, and the work takes a back seat. Have you noticed this in life? You long for something so much, you're not doing the work. So many people, they say, I'm very busy, but they're doing nothing. All they're doing is longing. They say, oh, I'm waiting for my results. I can't do anything today. I'm waiting for my results, which are coming tomorrow. But why can't you do something? Results will come tomorrow. Or they say, no, I can't do this project because I'm working on that project. What is the work you're doing on the other project? No, I don't have any. They're not doing any work on the other project, but they claim that, oh, no, I have this project, so I cannot work on that one. It's a very peculiar phenomenon that you believe you're doing work when you're actually doing nothing. Very peculiar thing. Even a housewife, she's got a few guests coming to her house. Maybe in a week's time, she'll say, I can't talk to you now. I have people coming over. But they're coming over next week, so why can't you talk now? No, I'm very busy. So what are you doing? Nothing. Because 1 week later, someone's coming. What are you going to be doing today? You see, they're mentally so involved in it that they believe they're doing something when they're doing nothing. And therefore, these people can never be high achievers because they have more thought of doing than actual doing. And thought of doing doesn't achieve anything, the doing achieves. You have to just stop and see this for yourself. Think of people, think of yourself when you did it. What was the action, and how much was the thought of that action? They did some study, these guys, and they came up with that when you think you're going to do something, it gives you as much pleasure as if you have already done it. Your brain thinks, suppose you say, okay, next week on Tuesday, I am going to study. It gives your brain that much pleasure as if you have. It gets the feeling that it's done it just because it thought it will do it. And most common place where this occurs is when we have to give some money to somebody. Suppose you want to do some charity and you think, okay, I will give this person some money. Your enjoyment of your giving that charity is finished with the thought. That action never comes later on. So many people want to give so many things, but what are they giving? Nothing. Except Shilpa. I don't want to embarrass her. But actually, we very quietly, without saying anything to anyone, Shilpa has been donating month after month to the trust. Even I didn't know. I recently found out. So thank you, Shilpa, for doing that. Month after month, she has been doing it. Nobody knows. She has told nobody. She has the thing. She puts the money. And she's been doing it for some time apparently. Only recently I found out. No, nice, right? Nobody knows. Nobody says anything. Nobody has thanked her. Nobody knows. Forget it. How will anybody thank her? Nobody knows that she's doing it. Month after month, very quietly, without saying a word. So, there are people who do work. There are people who do actions. And there are people who think about doing actions. And those people who think about doing actions, they feel like they've done it. I want to do so much for the institution. They feel they've done it. So the mind is so consumed in itself that you have no time for one word,
Work.
work, for action. But what gets result is action, not what you have thought. Have you seen people? I'm worrying, very worried, very worried. Oh, I have got diabetes. I'm very worried. I'm very worried. They're worrying so much, they don't go for a walk also because they're too worried. Then they're so worried they have to eat sweets to make up for the worry. Have you noticed this? I mean, this is human behavior. It's not other people, it's us. We do this all the time. The mental patterns substitute the action, and therefore we do not find success in this world. Keep working. Forget about those stupid mental patterns. Keep working. Every time you get worried, every time you get agitated, everything, anytime something happens, you say, what is the work I've done? Don't say, what is going to be my result? Say, how much studies am I doing? By studying, I will get my exam results, not by thinking how much will my results be. Some people like to say, there's a song, Ke Sara Sara. You remember this song, Ke Sara Sara? When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Remember that song? From childhood we start. What will I be? Arey, but what are you doing? You think no. No, what I'm doing, forget it. What will I be? What do you mean, what will I be? You will be whatever you do now. So you do now and you'll become that. Will I be pretty? What are you doing to be pretty? I'm eating samosas every day. No, sorry, you won't be pretty then. Will I be rich? What are you doing? I'm singing songs and sorry, you will not be rich. So, what are you doing? So, what we have to get from this is how all this desiring, wanting, craving, longing, worrying, hoping, anxiety is preventing the success. And all these mental things are coming from one basic root. And that root is
Desires.
desires. Very good. That root is desire. Amina, are you new to class? Is this your first class?
Yes, I've been coming once in a while, but not very regularly.
Okay. So you know, right? We are doing this book. You're aware of this.
Yes, I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it. Thank you so much.
And Meenakshi, what about you? Are you new? Is this name familiar? Is this your first class, Meenakshi? Okay, so what differentiates the master from anyone else is
The ability to work under pressure.
how calmly he can simply proceed to do what he has to do. Very good, Phil. Just do what you have to do. What will happen? Hey, Sarah, what will be, will be. You please do. You don't worry about being, you worry about doing. What will be, will be. Interesting, no? If you can get this, it's such an important thing of life. We should be able to tell all the students that study, you don't worry about results. You should be able to tell every executive, work, you don't worry about target. You set yourself a course and work. Just do it day after day after day. Just imagine that. Suppose you have been studying Vedanta for the last, I don't know, what would be the average of everybody studying Vedanta? What's your average? Tell us. Joyce, you've been studying Vedanta for now what, 3 years?
3 years,
3 years,
almost.
it's almost 3 years.
Yes.
Shilpa, you would be what? You would be 10 years maybe?
5 years,
5 years, only.
2021.
No, before COVID, you used to come to Prempuri class.
Yeah, I keep 21. I
Hello.
started Sanskrit. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, before, yeah.
21, I started Sanskrit class. I mixed it.
So how many years? Say 6 years, say. Right? So 3 years, 6 years. Taruna, what? 25 years? 25? My God, can you imagine? It doesn't even look 25. People will think I'm faking it if I tell that. This girl is not even 25 years old. How has she been studying for 25 years? No, she came to class in Delhi.
The year 98.
98. Oh, amongst the first
98.
classes I took in Delhi. Yeah. Wow. Can you believe that? And Deepraj for how many years? This is COVID. He's a COVID baby.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years. So now how? Deepraj, give us some kind of average of this. What is this average?
9.5.
9.5. Oh, suppose you've been studying for about say 9. That sounds like a lot, right? No, so many others. Oh, Surekha also very old. I have to find somebody new. No, but there's Ami now who's come like maybe 6 months. So you have to reduce it a bit. Asha Nath is also from Prempuri. Asha, I haven't seen you on camera for a long time, so I tend to forget you.
Yes.
So Asha has been coming to Prempuri for, I don't know, when did Prempuri?
I know many, I think more than 10 years now.
More than 10 years.
Yeah.
So from people who are here for 6 months. Oh, I just realized that Taruna is the most senior person in this class. I hope you all are all giving her the requisite respect as your senior, and I hope she is not bullying you as your senior. You're senior most in this class. Even but more than Mahesh also. Mahesh is 20 years, Taruna is 25 years, somebody is 10 years. How much? What? So let's even if you say, let's say that our average is 1 year. Let us for argument's sake, okay? Just an average we take of 1 year. And every single day in that 1 year, you would have studied your Vedanta for 1 hour. You would have clocked 365 hours of this. Do you realize what your proficiency in it would be? But rather than studying it, we all talk about how great Vedanta is. Oh, Vedanta is so great. My teacher is so great. My co-students are so great. We have a wonderful group. The institution is so great. But how is that helping you? If every single day, 1 hour, 365 hours you would have done, do you realize what your proficiency in it would be? Like, had you done this for 10 years, now again, Deepraj, please help. How many hours would that be? What kind of work that is? what degree of proficiency you would have in this? All of that is lost because the work is not done. We don't realize the importance of that minute. And we don't realize the importance of that minute because
we are focused on the result rather than
yes, more than any mental thing, a focus on what the mind is going on with. It could be future, it could be past, it could be excitement, it could be anger, it could be agitation. The mind is doing something, and your entire focus is there. And therefore, life is simply going away. You know that beautiful image about that, not beautiful image, horrible image about the hourglass. You know that sand. It's just going away. What are you doing with it? You do something or you don't do. Those drops of sand of that hourglass are going. So imagine in the last 10 years, if you had not done, or last 1 year also, if you had done every morning 1 hour studies, you've clocked 365 hours of study. If you have not done it, that's it. You're never getting those 365 hours back. The point of all this is to establish that we are all getting carried away in the mind rather than doing the requisite work. And why are we getting carried away in the mind? Because of desires. So desires impede success, which is what we are talking about. Clear so far? Any questions up to this point?
Janki ji, just a question. Isn't the reason behind it that the intellect is not strong enough?
Yes, that's true. But what is preventing it is the mind. I mean, like, you're doing what you're doing because of the mind. Because you're not using your intellect or because you're using your mind. Both would mean the same thing.
Because the desires are going to be there, regardless whether you're using your mind or your intellect.
Right.
So that is like a given constant.
Right.
So in order to have a better result or, take action rather than just, think about it, the intellect needs to be stronger, right? So that domination of the intellect is more a reason than just the desire being there.
That is the solution.
Oh, that's the solution. Okay.
The reason your mind is going like that is because of desire. If your desires were not there, where would your mind go? What is that lovely song? Remember, Bhimsen Joshi sings it. Ata kuthe dhave man, तुझे चरण देख ली आज. अब मेरा मन कहाँ भागेगा, आज तुम्हारे चरण देखे हैं. So where will my mind run now? Because I have seen your feet today. In other words, if you have realized the self and you have no desires, where can your mind run? It cannot run. Ata kuthe dhave man. Where is my mind? It's abhanga. Have you all heard of abhangas? Joyce, you know what an abhanga is? Abhanga, these very, very beautiful poetry in Marathi. Marathi is the language of the state we live in. And there are these bhajans, right? So the bhajans are usually in Hindi. And abhanga is in Marathi. And these were purportedly written by men of realization. And they're very, very beautiful. They speak Advaita philosophy, but in the devotional sense. Like, like this one, Surekha, you know who wrote Atha Kuthe Dhave Mana?
Maybe Tukaram.
Tukaram. So Tukaram is acclaimed to be one of the self-realized souls. And so he wrote this thing. Now, where will my where can my mind run now? For I have seen the Lord's feet today. In other words, my mind is stuck on the Lord, so I can't move. So the cause of the mind moving is
Desires.
desire. So as long as the desires are there, mind will move. What else will it do? Now the solution will be apply your intellect. But the cause of your failure to do that is the desires.
Jankiji, Surekha mentioned that desires will be there no matter if intellect is there or not. Not sure if that's the correct thing, right? I mean, why would the same number of desires be there if the intellect has developed?
Both statements are right, but they're from two different perspectives. Once, if your definition of intellect is including the knowledge of the higher, then what you're saying is right. And if your definition of intellect is not including the definition, the higher, then Surekha's is right. In a very perfect, very academic way, in a like a perfect philosophical way, then you would include knowledge of the higher. But it's not necessary that every time we speak about it, we do it like that. Is that clear?
So even if a person is, I mean, not endowed with Vedanta knowledge and just focused on his success, maybe, the desires which caused the distraction earlier are no longer there, right? So in that case, it's reduced.
Not necessary, because are you including in your definition of the intellect the control of desires? Because if you are, that means the desire is still there.
No, let's say, I mean, if a person earlier would go clubbing with his friends, and now he's just focused on resolving his life better for success, right? So in that sense, the desire for clubbing has gone because of his motivation to succeed. I mean, it's the higher knowledge has not come into the picture.
Then the desire hasn't gone. It will come back. Once he's succeeded, he'll go back to the club. It's like a student is not going to see films because he's studying. Once he's finished with his studying, he'll go see the film. But we are accepting that as intellect, no?
Okay, it's a bit of a struggle to understand that desire will come back because he's already tasted something higher and better in the form of success.
You're saying both, Bharat. You're saying your earlier statement, at least what I heard, was there was no knowledge of the higher.
No, I'm higher in the sense of success.
So
The success that he was after.
Yeah, whatever you're calling it, but either there is knowledge of the higher or there isn't. So if there is knowledge of the higher, whatever is the higher, then the lower falls off. So you have to determine whether there is knowledge of the higher. Is that success higher than his wanting to go clubbing? Maybe he wants to get more money so that he goes clubbing. So he's extremely disciplined in his studies and in his work because he wants the money to go clubbing. Many people like that. But we'll accept them as intellect in the sense at least they are doing that thing. So that's what I was trying to say. Depends on what all are you including in your definition.
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, Mahesh, let's continue. To perform under pressure is the mark of a master. As the stakes rise, performance is impaired. The desire makes one crave the result, dwell in the past, or get unduly excited with the action. This impedes concentration on the current action, which substantially decreases one's effective. To enable clarity, one has to put the desire on the back burner. Else, the mental space is consumed by the desire, the longing, and work takes a back seat. So you have two options. Put the work on the front burner and the desire on the back burner, or put the desire on the front burner and put work on the back burner. Even the other person's working, but the work is less effective. The pressures of sport is another example as our students underperforming at exams. Cooking too can go awry if one is overly excited about the guest coming. Imagine if you were cooking for your favorite celebrity's visit. Remembering the past failures during a job interview makes one lose the confidence required to answer the questions to the best of one's ability. These are all various examples of how the mind is playing. And therefore, your effectiveness is coming down. The capacity to work without desire prompting is the key to achieving one's highest potential. Okay, here's where we're making a shift. You want good results in the exams, and so you say put the desire on the back burner and you study. That's step one. Bharat, so this is step one. This is what Surekha was referring to. You were originally referring to step two. The capacity to work without desire prompting is the key to achieving one's highest potential. That means you don't even want that result. You just don't want, you have no reason to want it. And you're working. And the only condition under which you will work when you don't even want it, you're not interested in that thing at all, it will be when
The intellect is stronger.
Sorry?
When the intellect is stronger.
Okay, but under what condition will it happen? You're right, the intellect will be stronger, but under what condition will this thing happen?
When you work for the higher.
Desire,
Very good.
desire is unselfish.
Very good. You don't want it for yourself. You are asking for nothing. But you're simply working, you're working day and night maybe, with no intention of getting anything for yourself. When you work like that, you hit your highest potential. Nothing you're asking for, imagine that. Therefore, you will see you'll find amazing examples of what human beings do under such conditions. Think of somebody like Joan of Arc. What is she? She's a farm girl. She's like the maid who comes to do bartan in your house. Uneducated, nothing. This girl has nothing to gain, but she decides to lead the army, the French army, against, not for her KPIs, not for getting any medals, not for showing how she's the best general, nothing. She has nothing to gain out of it. She leads this army against the British Empire and wins. Have you heard of such stuff? When you're able to I mean, I don't even have the desire. This body, mind, intellect function at its full potential, and you do like miraculous activity, like you don't know how is this even possible. Don't want anything out of it. Care only for that idea. And you will be shocked at what you do. Be absolutely shocked. How did this happen? The potential of the body, mind, intellect, when you do not interrupt it, will simply flow. Every time we've had a selfish thought, every time we've had this thought, what am I going to get out of it? You pull your own potential down. Forget it. You don't believe philosophy, if you don't believe Krishna, you don't believe your teacher, experiment. Experiment and see. Just don't think of yourself and work for some ideal, whatever cause, and see what you yourself will do. See for yourself. Don't believe me. See for yourself. It's incredible. People with no resources, with no abilities, will achieve more than people with resources and abilities. Now, if all of us, just us, how many of us are there in class? 24 of us in class today. Okay, and whoever is watching on YouTube. Okay, let's say 25, 30 of us. Say, I will not think about myself. I will simply work for the higher. Do you realize the 30 of us will do some miracles in this world? And when we do it, people will say, how did you do this? And you will say, I don't know. हो गया. हो गया, पता नहीं कैसे हुआ, हो गया. You know, in Joyce, this is a Hindi thing. हो गया means it happened. You know how it happened. So most times you ask anybody over here, how did this happen? हो गया, happened. It's a very common way of talking. So literally, it will become like that. You wonder, okay, how did this happen? But it happened. Just forget about yourself. Forget whether you have resources. Forget whether you have abilities. Forget anything. Just care for something. Care enough for it that you're willing to work for that, whatever that higher thing is. One of the students told me this story. It was a great story that I think it's there in the book somewhere. There was this lady, it was the time of partition. And you know, everybody was coming up from Sindh and Punjab and all that, and they were coming in. And you must be familiar, the train loads of people were just, I don't know, filling into India with nothing really, just whatever they could carry in their hands, they were bringing and coming over here. It was a horrible, horrible thing that happened to our country, this whole partition thing. And people were just coming into the country, and there was just this mass of humanity. There was no organization, there was no nothing. It was just like, okay, one day you draw a line, you say, okay, that is this country, that is that country, and now change places, both of you. I mean, like, it's too much. We can't even imagine what those people went through. So these hordes and hordes of people were coming into India in these trains. And this is what this person told me, that one lady with her young child, infant child, and one, whatever, clothes tied into one sari or something, she arrived at the railway station. And when she arrived at the railway station, she had nothing. She had a baby and she had that little tokri which she had. And she wanted a cup of tea. There's no food, there's nothing. So how does she even get a cup of tea? So she didn't know what to do. Where do you get tea? How do you get a cup of tea? So she does not tea. So then what she decided to do is somehow she managed to get some milk, some tea powder, something. Since she wanted tea, she thought others will also want tea. So she stood over there and she started making tea for others. And according to the person who told me this story, this lady who started making that tea over there for all the people who came in, that same thing one day became one of the biggest restaurants. And it just grew and grew because she was fulfilling somebody's needs. Now I've forgotten the name of the restaurant, but Apparently, it's there somewhere in Mumbai. But just think of that. All she wanted to do, she realized I want tea. She realized everybody else must be wanting tea. And she wanted to make tea for everybody. And then they became some major restaurant over here. Just forget yourself. What resources did she have? What abilities did she have? She not only forget having resources and ability, she had an infant child with her. So forget about it. Forget about what is my promotion, what is my this thing, what is my salary. Forget it and work for something. Whatever you want, work for it. Be willing to sacrifice yourself for that cause. You say, what will happen to me? Your whole potential will come out. And when your whole potential comes out, what will happen? You will be successful, you will be happy, everything. Just forget it. And now we're just studying about how is that working. So the capacity.
Sankiti, sorry, a question on this. So, what explains activists getting very angry and frustrated with the world with
Good
this
question.
kind of
You know, when you're struggling to achieve a goal, you have forgotten yourself. But when your personality has raised itself to that higher level, now that is your personality. You will have to forget that and work higher. Remember how we said higher is always a relative term? So, what happens to the activist is now that is no longer the higher for them. If they have to calm down, they will have to have something even higher.
or is it that the thought of the cause has taken a backseat and in my cause perhaps this has taken precedence?
Yes, that's what it means. No, your personality has come to that level. You're not doing anything to raise further. There's no higher level. So if I'm working for, I don't know, whatever, something, whatever, for the for orphans, for instance, right? So I have a little orphanage and I'm working for it. And I love all these children who are staying with me and all of that sort of stuff. And I'm totally involved and I'm totally this. So it's no longer higher. I'll have to get something higher. Therefore, I will start disliking those people who don't help my orphans and liking those people who help my orphans. And the whole samsara starts all over again. So you've got to push your ideal up. Otherwise, you're stuck in the same way as everybody else. That is why the ideal given to us is always the infinitude, so that you know you're a long way from there.
So being stuck at an unselfish level, wherever that is, would perhaps eventually bring out the negativity in a person.
No, it is
Would
negative.
that?
It's already negative because you're stuck. You can bring out further. Now you're stuck. So that's negative. Straight away negative. So same thing will
Okay.
happen. Yeah, same pairs of opposites will bother you. Same thing will happen.
Yes, thank you.
The capacity to work without desire prompting is the key to achieving one's highest potential. We innocently believe that desires make achievers, though the truth is far from that. Interesting, no? I mean, try it. Just try it yourself. Don't have to believe what is written in all these books and all. Try it yourself. Okay. Desires deplete. Yes, Taruna.
I did not understand that in reference to Bharat's question. If you are at the same level, means when you're working for a goal, what inspired you, and you're feeling negativity, it means you're stagnating.
That's
Can you elaborate this point? Because maybe your tendencies are like that only.
What do you mean your tendencies are like that?
Means that negativity, or you're seeing negative, means you're driven by likes and dislikes at that level. So um, that is a part of your maybe a part of that person's personality, you know.
Correct. So if he has to get over it, he has to go higher.
But they were there at the time when that person had that goal also. Maybe the orphanage, maybe he or she may be inspired to have an orphanage. Even at that level also he might be having those likes and dislikes.
Yes. So
How does raising your level of inspiration remove it?
the higher your goal is, the more of your negativity it will remove. So if your goal is not very high, let's say I want to, what shall I say? I want a job and I want to become a corporate executive. Okay. So what have I got to do? I have to study. I have to, learn to wear clothes properly and be very, well presented, keep in the right company, do the right networking, let's say. Okay. I'm just giving you some random examples. So all these things have to be under my control. And I will get that job and I will work there. And if I want to become like a world champion in Wimbledon, something like that. Now I have to make sure I sleep on time, eat on time, so many other things will get involved, right? So I want to be a realized soul. Now what all do I have to keep under control? Everything will come under control.
Everything. Yeah.
So as you rise, you will have to keep more and more things under control to get to that goal. Which is why nobody wants to do that. Because you realize what you're going to have to sacrifice for it. No?
Means your focus will not be there on the petty things or whatever is already there
Yeah.
in you.
Yeah, I mean, like for a Wimbledon champion, he doesn't need to worry about whether he gets along with his neighbor or not. It's got nothing to do with his goal. But if you want realization, then you have to also get along with your neighbor now. I mean, you have to have no hatred towards your neighbor. So hundreds of other things will get involved. So when your goal is low, you have to control little. As that goal rises, you will have to be more and more, your control has to be on more and more things.
Also, you maybe, yes, the control has to be on more and more, but your focus is not even there. So it's means your focus is not that you have to get along with your neighbor or something. You are just focusing on that Wimbledon thing, and you're not even bothered that those things will not come into your attention.
Until the
And that
neighbor comes and does something to you, then you get very agitated. Because you never tried to have feelings towards them. That is what challenges are. If you stop and you think about it in life, what is a challenge? It's nothing but a clash between your past and your future. What are you finding difficult? What is the point of difficulty in a person's life? The aspiration for the future is at is converging or not converging, diverging from the habit of the past. When there is a clash between what I'm used to and what I have to get, that's when the problems start. So we all have some habits, some conditioning, something coming from the past. Now, whatever, with all that, I've come to where I am today. So what brought me here is not going to take me there. So if I start wanting something much higher, much better, the challenge is now I have to face my past. Means whatever I have collected so far. So let's say, you know what? So Arjuna faces his past when he says, I can't fight this battle. So who's he facing? He's facing Bhishma. What is that representing? It's representing the fact of his family, his culture. No, no, no. For this war, I have to go against this. Who else is he facing? His friend Drona. What's Drona? My teacher. He's taught me this. I have to go beyond all this. So every time I have a challenge, what's happening is I'm being forced to go beyond something. And I'm not willing to. But my aspiration is, and my habit and my aspiration are meeting. When my habit and my aspiration meet, then I will achieve whatever it is. There's no challenge. Then it's simple. It's easy. I can do it. Like, I mean, I'll tell you in my own case, for instance, never in my life, okay, I'm almost 60 years old. I have never in my life done anything to generate revenue. I don't know how it's done. I don't know how people earn money. I don't know how they manage all this. I've never done anything to generate revenue. Now, to set up Vedanta University, we have to think of some form of generating revenue. So at this late age in my life, I have to tell, okay, what is the way of generating revenue? I don't know how it's done. So therefore, I have a challenge in front of me. Where do I get money from? If we need 108 crores, where is it coming from? So that's the challenge, right? That's the difficulty. Every other part is okay, handleable. But where is this coming from? If you had the money, everything can be done. But you don't have the money, so now do what? To get the money, how to get the money. So everything that we find challenging is nothing but us facing our own past. Like, I'm not willing to do this. I can't do this. Like, everybody who's interested in Vedanta University has to go out and raise money somehow. 9 out of 10 people won't do it because no, I can't do it. So that past clashes. And do you want Vedanta University? Yes. Can it come without money? No. Go get money? No, I can't talk to anybody about money. You see what's happening? So how does it become a challenge? The challenge is my own past. So a challenge is nothing but the clash of the past and the future. The past habit and the future aspiration. The aspiration for the future, whatever you want as a result in the future, you still don't have the habits to get that. So that happens at every stage, no? So if I have the habits of studying hard, then it's easy for me to do well in exams. Well, it's not a challenge. There's so many students like that. Now they could care less, they'll do well in their exams. Then to come to work. Now, besides study, they'll have to do one more thing. And at some stage, people say, I don't know, I'm going to do this. Then that's where they stagnate.
So you have to consciously raise your own challenges.
Absolutely. You have to raise your challenges, no? You have to raise your idea.
I do, yes.
Then you will have a challenge. Otherwise, how will you have a challenge?
Thank you.
Okay, so Bharat, what are you saying, Bharat? No, this thing has changed. Yes, please go ahead, Bharat.
Yeah. Hari Om, everyone. Reminder for tomorrow's talk at 12 noon. So if you send the registration link with your friends in the business field, send them a reminder again. And also remember that tomorrow will be the small GD in Vedanta Treaties class. Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat. You know that for law of karma tomorrow.